1 year ago to the day, I was in the middle of attempting to set a new self-supported FKT on the Sheltowee Trace in Kentucky and Tennessee. And shortly thereafter, I established the first ever FKTs on the Bureau of State Park Trail in Ohio and the Susquehannock Trail in Pennsylvania. But for November of 2020, I had my sights set on a different trail. A trail that I was planning to establish the first ever FKT on this past March. But for most of the summer, it was out of sight and out of mind. Once I began to refocus on attempting another FKT this fall, I discovered that this summer, 2 FKTs had already been set on it. One going supported and the other as a self-supported. But I was up for the challenge. So with favorable weather conditions and a near full moon for night hiking, I set off to north central Pennsylvania in hopes of breaking the fastest known time on the 85-mile Susquehannock Trail. So I have arrived to Susquehannock State Forest, and when I pulled into Patterson State Park where I intended to stay, there was 2 inches of snow on the ground and it was closed. So I decided to take my chances and come down to Lyman Run State Park. It is closed as well. However, I am here in a nice grassy area with picnic tables and little barbecue grill racks. I'm going to pitch my tent here because it's getting dark very quickly. It's a lot darker than what the camera shows. Here in north central Pennsylvania, the sun sets at like 5:05 now here in early November after the time change. So getting dark very quickly. I'm going to get set up. I will talk to you guys in the morning. Good morning, day 2 here in Pennsylvania in the Susquehannock State Forest, and as you can see all around me, we're kind of covered up in snow. So now the sun has just came up. It's about 7 a.m. It's gonna be a beautiful day. It's gonna get into the 50s today. I'm thinking most of this will melt off, and tomorrow's supposed to be mid 60s, so it'll all melt off by tomorrow. But that means I'll probably have to contend with sloppy trails in spots. So right now I'm heading back to Couter Sport to get some breakfast, and then I'm going to drive around the entire trail all day today, familiarize myself with the trail and all the road crossings that may be sketchy to see in the dark, and also feel out how sloppy and messy the trail is going to be, because there's not going to be a record broken if I'm going to be running through snow. So that's where we're at. We'll see how today plays out, and I'll keep you guys posted. All right, just a quick update on my current situation. I am leaving the state park office right now, the district office, right here at the trailhead at northern gateway of the Susquehannock Trail, and bumped into a couple forestry guys, or DNCR, whatever it's called, and they spent about 20 minutes talking with me about a bunch of details of the trail, the weather, things to look out for. There has been some high winds the last 2 days, so they said expect to see some blowdowns. The good news is that it is sunny out and it's quickly warming up. It's almost 40 degrees and most of the snow should melt off today. So the plan now is to spend the rest of the day driving around all the areas where the trail crosses roads, where there's other parking areas, and just familiarize myself as much as possible with the layout of the land and what it looks like where I could possibly lose the trail when coming out on a road or a state park, etc. So that's the plan for the rest of the day. Looking forward to seeing the rest of the area. All right, I am at the location that I am going to begin and end my FKT attempt. Across the road, you can see Patterson State Park. There's a bathroom right there that I'm pointing at. Right behind that bathroom is where I will begin my run/walk tomorrow. And I'm going to park my truck right here. I'm not going to park over there just because they have it barricaded off because they're doing maintenance on the shelter building roof. So directly across the road, there's a little picnic area right here and a parking spot. I'm going to leave my truck right here, and this is where I will be finishing. And this is where I will be exiting the STS. Also a section called the Plantation Trail. One unique aspect of the STS is that it is made up of like 60 some trails all combined to form one giant loop. So every few miles the trail has a different name, but it is all part of the STS. So this is where it's all going to start and finish for me tomorrow. It's still early in the morning. We got a lot of trail recon left. This is some of the most rolling hills I have seen in Pennsylvania. My goodness. That is gorgeous. The river down below. I'm currently here at Sunken State Park, and this is one of the overlooks. It's so nice out. I just had to stop and take a break and come and soak this in. So the Susquehannock Trail is that way. I am currently driving around the southern section of Hammersley wild area. So I am way southwest of the trail right now, working my way down and then back up to Cross Fork, where I am wanting to see a couple other intersections where the trail crosses the road and maybe grab a bite at the little diner there in Cross Fork. I know they have a good burger called the Bubba Burger, but I'm saving that one for a post-hike meal if I choose to drive down to Cross Fork again. My goodness. Pennsylvania is fast becoming my favorite state. Michigan used to be my favorite state, but I think Pennsylvania has now taken its place. Driving through Ole Bull State Park. Look at those pines. That is beautiful. Okay, time for a quick update on the situation. I am here at Cherry Springs Fire Tower, and I was just over at the Cherry Springs Overlook, I think that's what it's called, taking in the view, and I received a call from one of the state park management team, one of the rangers I think, and he said I cannot stay at Patterson State Park. That is where I was planning on starting and finishing my hike. They have officially closed at the 1st of November, so staying there is not an option. He said I couldn't even leave my truck there overnight. So I went to plan B and was going to stay at another place he suggested down the road where there's a little parking area right on the trail off of a gravel road. And that would have worked out. And when I called and talked to the president of the STS organization, Wanda, she suggested another option. So here at the Cherry Springs Fire Tower, there is a beautiful stone cabin. I think it used to be an old ranger's cabin. And it has recently been run and maintained by a Boy Scout club. They no longer wanted to run it and maintain it, so it is being turned over to the STS organization. And she offered the cabin to me tonight. Let me turn this around and show you what I am staying in tonight. Look at this place. That is gorgeous. We got firewood. I'm not going to use their firewood because I brought my own. We got a outhouse down here. We have a little fire pit. Oh my goodness. Let you see inside real quick here. Got a wood burning stone fireplace. Another stove, wood burning stove here. And I'm going to be sleeping on that bed with my pad and quilt. It is freezing cold in here, so I probably will start a fire. It's colder in here than it is outside. I got to tell you, I am absolutely blown away by the hospitality of the STS. I have had several of the people that are in the organization reach out to me, and they have been nothing but gracious and hospitable to me. So I truly appreciate everybody that is part of the STS organization. You guys have been awesome. And this is going to really help me out tonight. I will be able to get a great night's sleep and ready to hit that trail hard at 4 or 5 a.m. tomorrow. I'm about 12 minutes and 8 miles away from where I'm planning to start my hike tomorrow. So that is a little bit inconvenient, but not that bad. I'll just get up a little bit early. It's worth it to have that. Wow. And they have also asked me if I want breakfast delivered to the trailhead that I'm starting at when I complete the trail. I mean, that is going over and above what most people do for somebody attempting to run and set an FKT on a trail. Man, definitely highly recommend this place so far. No complaints whatsoever. And the snow is melted. It is a bit chilly in here, and we're going to get this place warmed up. My wife's specialty, spaghetti squash casserole. It's got cheese and sausage and sauce. Oh yeah. Oh man. Now this is nice. Wow. This is pure luxury camping right here. This isn't even camping. Oh, I'm gonna sleep so much better tonight than I did last night. Oh, I about froze to death. It only got down to 32 last night, but I was cold. I thought for sure it was in the mid-20s when I woke up. I was very surprised to see that it was only 33. Well, I think I got the right amount of air in here. Just got to get back up and turn the light off, and it is 7 p.m. I'm hitting a sack because I'm going to be on the trail hopefully around 4:30 a.m. and I want to get a full 8 to 9 hours of sleep and be raring to go when I wake up. I'm a little nervous, I'm a little anxious, and slightly overwhelmed about what I'm getting ready to tackle tomorrow. But at the same time, I'm very excited and fairly confident. As long as my plantar fasciitis in my left heel does not take me out and I'm able to handle the elevation gain with the cardio work that I've been doing, I think I'll be all right. Alrighty, I'll see you guys bright and early in the morning. Well, here we go. It's 4:15 and I'm walking out the door. This is it. This is what I've been preparing for the last 3 months. Actually, I've been thinking about this trail since last March. I'm very, very overwhelmed and nervous right now. But I know I'm going to feel ready as soon as I step foot on that trail. Because I've put the time in, I've put the preparation in, and I think I'm ready to go. All right, let's do it. It's low 40s, pretty good conditions to get this thing going. The start time is looming. I'm 5 minutes away from getting out of this nice warm truck and putting my body through something probably more difficult than I've ever done in my life. Part of me almost can't believe I'm getting ready to do this, but the other part of me is very excited to get this thing going because I've prepared so hard for so long. So I'm here at Sunken Branch Road, a little dinky parking lot, big enough for probably 5 cars. And there's not going to be any kind of grand exit from the trail. I'm going to be walking out in the middle of the woods where my truck is right now. So that's okay. You know, it is what it is. I'm just glad I had that beautiful cabin to stay in last night. I was able to really relax and focus on the task at hand. Well, it is 4:55. I'm going to get out, turn all the navigation devices on, and hit the trail. I forgot to show the starting time. Wednesday, November 4th. It's currently 5:08. I started my Garmin and Strava and Gaia all at 5 o'clock sharp. Let's roll. I made it to the Patterson State Park shelter. This is where I intended on starting. I'm at least going to shed my fleece right now. Well, An official good morning. It's 7 o'clock. I'm breathing kind of heavy right now because I just completed my first major climb. But so far the trail has been very runnable for the most part. And I've been jogging most of the flats and the downhills where I was able to at least see well. But it's, as you can see, oh wow, I just noticed. It's my first view of the sun coming over the far ridge over there. It's beautiful. But like I said, it's 7 o'clock, so I'm officially 2 hours in, right at 8 miles. So I am far ahead of my minimum pace. But if I encounter more hills like I just went up, my pace is going to drop very quickly. So I'll be happy with 3.5 miles per hour, but I will take the 4 miles per hour right now while I can get it, because I know it's going to get more difficult as the day progresses. Well, this morning started off at 35 degrees, and I actually saw a heavy frost on the ground my first couple miles. And now we have a glorious sunshine. Wow, check it out. Oh, it's going to be a hot one today. It's supposed to get up to 62 degrees. So I'm going to be sweating hard. I would prefer it to stay this temperature all day, but I don't think I'll be that fortunate. Coming up on my first shelter on the trail. Very nice. Wild Boy Shelter. Another really nice shelter. Gravel lick shelter. I'm taking a quick 1-minute breather on this nice bench before moving on. I've been going uphill for about a mile. Definitely wearing on me a little bit, but things are going well. Just about have the first segment done, the first segment of 22 miles. I'll fill you in on all the details here in a little bit as soon as I cross that mark. Alrighty, it is time for an update. I have just finished my first 22-mile segment. It is 11 o'clock a.m. I did it in 6 hours, so I am right on pace. Make sure I'm focused in here. I am right on the pace I had planned. That allows me a little bit of leeway in the later sections, which I know I'm going to need because I can already start to feel a little bit of tiredness sneaking in on the uphills and a little bit of pain in the knees and feet. Not bad though, still feel pretty good. So my plan is to tackle segment number 2 in 6.5 hours. And that will allow me to have 7 hours for the last 2 segments. And if I can do that, I will beat the supported time. Barely, but I will, by about a half hour. I know this is a lot easier said than done, but I do feel good that I conquered my first segment according to my plan. So I'm going to keep pushing on and definitely update you again in the Hammersley Wild area. I'm really looking forward to seeing all that. I'm entering that area here shortly. Oh, I forgot to mention how my food consumption's going. I know some of you are probably wondering if I was able to eat all the food that I packed, because I packed a bunch. I came close. I have Skittles, corn nuts, and a honey stinger left. So, what is that, like 400 calories or something? So I came close, you know, even though I'm going for a record and I'm really putting myself through the ringer, I'm still enjoying the views. I mean, it's a clear blue sky today and probably pushing 55 or 60. I got these massive hills and ridges behind me, and look out this way. Gorgeous. I hope I don't have to go up that. Holy moly. All right, here's the remaining parts of my food bag from section 1. I forgot I had a Snickers in there and a honey stinger I'm still trying to finish up. So I really was closer to only consuming like 1,700 calories. I almost have about 900 or 1,000 left. But gonna use up the scratch labs, hydration stuff right now, electrolytes. And one of my strategies that I haven't discussed, that I just did right now, was I have been filling up my water from the creeks without filtering. I know that's frowned upon by most of you, but I'm willing to take the risk. All right, what I do with my cat, there it is. For the sake of time and ease, I'm just finding a clean water source and hoping that I'm not going to get parasites or giardia. If I do, I'll deal with it later. I'll be off the trail before I get sick. But I've never gotten sick before from not filtering water, so I'm taking my chances. Oh, we're taking a 1-minute breather here at the pools, I think is what it's called. I mean, this is absolutely gorgeous. I was wondering what this was going to look like. I haven't seen any pictures of it, but I've read a lot about it. I have read that it gets a lot of overuse. There's a campsite right up here, and there was another one right over there where I just got some water. But this is stunning. Look at that crystal clear water. Probably 6 feet deep. Perfect depth to do a little backflip right here if I was camping. This is lovely. All right, back on the trail. Alrighty, update time. 28 miles in, it's 1 p.m. I am 1/3 of the way done. So that feels really good. I am still on pace. I'm maintaining between a 3.5 and a 3.6 average pace overall. So I'm still on pace and on schedule to beat the record. However, my right hamstring feels like it's starting to want to cramp up a little bit. And I'm starting to lose my ability to jog. Oh, got a big old blow down here. So I'm trying to fast walk as much as I can. And that even feels like a light jog to me now. So after I hit the halfway point, I highly doubt I'm gonna be able to jog at all. But overall, things are going good. My stomach is a little queasy right now, probably from all the sugar. But I think I'll be all right. Onward, down to Cross Fork, I'm just about there. And then on to the halfway point. Man, I would love to stop. Scoville Branch Shelter. I'm ready for a nap. But it's only 4 o'clock. So I got a long ways to go. I'm not sure where the other shelter is, but if I happen to come across it and need a little cat nap, I might hop in there and try to get some quick shut-eye. Okay. I've seen this in many pictures. Oh boy, that looks fun. I'll probably never see this again, so I better film it. Scoville Branch, I'm not sure how you say it. And that sun's gonna go down below the ridge line here in about a half hour. Oh man, that was brutal. I'm tired. Oh boy. My stomach's been queasy for 2 or 3 hours, even before Cross Fork. I'm almost to mile 38, and my average speed has dropped to 3.3, which is the bare minimum I can drop to. There's no way I can maintain that pace throughout the night, because I'm starting to get pretty worn out. All right, we'll keep pressing on, getting close to the halfway point. There hasn't really been a lot to film. I've just been putting my head down and walking, and very little jogging now. Almost to the point where I can't jog anymore. Oh boy, this battery's ready to go dead. Check this out. About right there above the shadow line is where I think I go back into the woods to the right. Wow. So a little bit ago I was telling you how my stomach's been queasy, and that has prevented me from eating the calories that I need to eat to have energy. So it's really wearing me down. Oh. All right, I'm gonna jog down this hill. 5 o'clock p.m. update. I've been on the trail for 12 hours and I just hit mile 40. So, I mean, overall, I'm happy with that, but I was hoping to be at least the halfway point at mile 42. Or if I could have maintained my pace like I did in the first section, I would be at mile 44. I would have had to hold steady at 3.6 miles per hour. My pace average has slipped down to 3.3. I really can't run anymore. So, oh geez. So I think I'm going to look for a spot to lay down here. Take a little cat nap for maybe just 5 or 10 minutes. Just to reset and ingest some calories, because I need some bad. All right, I'm at the halfway point. It's 5:30, 12 and a half hours to get to the halfway point. I'm on pace to beat the record, the supported record, but I can't maintain the pace anymore. I'm gonna start falling off a lot now that it's dark and I'm really tired. I'll do the best I can. Hopefully still set a really solid time in the low 30s at least. Oh man, I am beat. Sitting here taking a quick break, trying to figure out what to do. I can't eat any food. It's been 3 hours since I've had anything, so I have no energy whatsoever. But the good news is that I am at mile 50 at 10 p.m. This is my new personal best. Actually, when I hit mile 47, it was my new personal best. So I crushed it. But now I'm trying to decide if I'm going to lay down and take a little nap or try to push on a little further. I'm just not being very productive right now. I think it's time to lay down. Look what I just found. The Spook Hollow shelter. I want to sit for a spell, try to catch my breath and see if my stomach will settle. I might be here for a half hour or an hour. I can't go on right now. All right, I am at Ole Bull State Park. It's 1 in the morning and I'm at mile 54. And I'm getting tired again. I'm thinking about laying down here for another half hour. I mean, I keep putting my time off more and more every time I do this, but my stomach is just not right yet. I haven't eaten anything for 2 hours since I was back at Spook Hollow shelter. I barely drank anything. I'm just burning energy from my body right now. It's like I can't even catch my breath while I'm talking. Wow. It's really, really cold down here too. Up on top of the ridge about 2 or 3 miles ago, I started working up a sweat. I had to take my gloves off and my rain jacket, but now I am freezing. So I'm about ready to get my quilt out and wrap up. All right, a little break and then back on the trail. Good morning. Well, I'm sad to say this is where my journey ends on the Susquehannock Trail. I rolled in here at this little spot where I set up my little emergency camp around 2 a.m. I spent about an hour down at Ole Bull State Park throwing up and shivering. So I pushed onto the top of the hill here where it was a lot warmer, and I've been laying here sleeping on and off for the last 4 hours. But I have Wanda, the STS president, coming to pick me up at Ole Bull State Park, so I'm getting ready to make my way back down the hill. I haven't been able to keep anything down since 8 o'clock last night, and probably since 4 o'clock yesterday afternoon I've been feeling queasy. So it's been a spiraling downhill for me for quite some time. Man, I was feeling so good, and that 1.5 segments of my 4 segments that I had the trail broke up into, I felt great, and I was on record pace But these things happen sometimes. It just wasn't meant to be this time. I will explain all the details of everything I went through here as soon as I get back to my cabin. Well, I feel like I'm doing the walk of shame, a mile and a half back down to Ole Bull State Park. I can't believe this happened to me. Never had any problems the other 3 times I've attempted FKTs. The stomach is finally starting to feel just a little bit better, and I happen to have some Sour Patch Kids on the outside of my backpack, and I've been munching on a few of those. I feel like that's the only thing I can eat right now. What really sounds good is some hot broth, or maybe a bowl of chicken noodle soup or something like that. Something light and hot and brothy, salty. It's about the only thing that I could probably stomach right now. Well, I got about a mile and a half walk downhill back to the state park. There will be more to come. Well, obviously I am back here at the cabin. I just got dropped off by Wanda, the STC president, which stands for Susquehannock Trail Club. I apologize for mispronouncing that earlier, calling it the STS. It's the STC. So thank you again, Wanda, for picking me up at Ole Bull State Park and bringing me back to the cabin. Obviously, it did not turn out according to how I had planned. I was expecting to be finishing up the trail about right now and setting the new FKT. Things don't always go according to plan. I know this, but I definitely had higher expectations for myself and definitely didn't intend on getting a distressed stomach. That was horrible. I have never experienced anything like that on the trail before in all the 4 years I've been backpacking. I just could not get it to calm down. I couldn't hold any food down. I couldn't drink anything, and I just completely lost my energy. And without calories being put into your body, you cannot perform at peak level. I mean, I was down to a snail's pace and just on the verge of throwing up continually for probably 5 hours. So when I decided to throw the towel in at 1 o'clock, I was at Ole Bull State Park. And unfortunately down there in that cold dark valley it was freezing. It was already dew on the ground getting ready to turn to frost, and I think being sick also contributed to me getting the shakes. Like I was shivering and shaking, and I knew I had to get up and get moving. Even though I had my quilt wrapped around me, I was still very chilly, and I knew I needed to get up to higher ground. So I pushed on for 2 more miles, made it to the top of the next ridge, and it was definitely warmer up there. It felt much better, probably closer to 40 degrees, if not 45. And that's where I set up my emergency sleep system, a piece of Tyvek and a piece of Reflectix and my quilt and my pillow. And I laid down there at 2 o'clock and slept decent for the next 4 hours. And then when I woke up, I decided to make the call to Wanda, the STC president, and she was more than happy to come and pick me up. She said she would have came and picked me up in the middle of the night, but I didn't want to call somebody in the middle of the night and wake them up when I knew I could be comfortable just sleeping there for a few hours. And another reason I left Ole Bull State Park is there's no cell service down there, so I had to get out into the top of a ridge where I could get cellular service to make a phone call. Otherwise I would have been forced to push my Garmin SOS button if it would have been any worse, and I didn't want to do that. You know, I did try a bunch of new products this time that weren't tested, and that's probably my biggest downfall right there. You know, I'm not blaming it on any of these one products, but you know, between the Mirror Energy with the extra caffeine in it, the liquid IVs, and the Mountain Ops, I mean, there's definitely a few items in these two here that I don't normally eat or drink. So I'm definitely going to look into some of the contents in these a little more thoroughly and see if there's anything that could have been a lethal combination that distressed my stomach. But you know, there is stevia in the liquid IVs. I don't like stevia. I mean, maybe that with a combination of some of the weird things in here that I don't normally eat could have been the combination that made me sick. I do remember feeling queasy just a few times on the Sheltowee Trace after taking the scratch labs, but there is nothing odd or unfamiliar in the Scratch Labs. It's pretty natural ingredients, so I highly doubt if it was that. Anyway, it doesn't matter now. I'm off the trail. I want to wrap up this video now by thanking a few people who were instrumental in helping me through this challenge in my preparation and throughout the challenge. And I got to start off by thanking my Lord and Savior. He was with me at my side the entire time. I could feel his presence with me, especially through the dark hours of the night. He was my light and my guide and my rock. I relied on him a lot. So grateful to have him with me in my life. Next, I got to thank my wife for sticking by my side and being supportive of these crazy challenges and adventures I put myself through. For putting up with me being late to dinner at times or going back out after dinner, working out and training. Thank you so much for being supportive of all of that craziness. Oh, and I can't forget about my favorite dinner that she prepared for me to bring with me to eat the night before I began my challenge. It is spaghetti squash casserole. To me, it tastes like lasagna made with spaghetti squash. It is amazing. I'll throw a picture of it up on the screen right here so you can see what I'm talking about. But I remember having some of my best training days shortly after eating this meal. And I know it's probably just a mental thing, but I felt like I wanted to have this before my challenge began. So thank you, babe, for cooking one of my favorite meals to bring with me on this challenge. Next, I need to thank Bob and Cole, the FKT holders of the STS. I have not met Cole, but thank you, Cole, for setting a high mark for me to go after. I was really gunning for that 27 hours. Maybe there'll be a next time, I don't know, but I appreciate you setting the mark and giving me a number to go after. And Bob, the self-supported FKT holder at 43 hours, we have become pretty close friends on the phone through texting back and forth to each other. Thank you so much for the valuable information on the trail and giving me some of your FKT secrets that helped you get through the STS. It helped me tremendously, so thank you. Of course, I need to thank the STC, the Susquehannock Trail Club, specifically several members. Of course, Wanda for picking me up at Ole Bull State Park and for setting me up in this amazing cabin. Thank you very much. And to Bill Boyd for the detailed emails he sent me on specific areas of the trail. That was very helpful information, so thank you, Bill. And to Kurt Weinhold, I have not met Kurt either, but he is one of their photographers and Facebook posters for the STC, and he was definitely very helpful in some of the information he shared with me as well. So thank you to the three of you for the part you played in my FKT attempt. Before I came to Pennsylvania to begin my FKT, I decided that I was going to dedicate this attempt to an individual who recently lost her battle with cancer. That is Chelsea Donaldson. I'm good friends with her father, Fred Donaldson, who is a fellow believer, a fellow YouTuber, and a backpacker. And I knew his daughter was in a battle for her life. She recently lost that battle a day or two before I began my attempt, and I was dedicating this FKT to her. Sorry I didn't get the new record out here on the trail, but I want to let you know that you and your family were in my thoughts and prayers often out on the trail, and you were a huge inspiration to me, so thank you. And finally, to all of you, my followers and friends on Facebook and YouTube, and for those of you who followed on my Garmin Map Share link, thank you so much for all of the encouraging words and comments that were shared before, during, and after my FKT attempt. And it always motivates me so much to know that many of you are following me through my Garmin device, and I always enjoy reading the comments. Thank you so much. It is just a big help to me, and I appreciate all of you very much. Alrighty folks, that's going to wrap it up. Thank you so much for hanging in there till the very end of the video. I'm going to go into this cabin and lay down for a nice, long, relaxing nap before I head home for the 6.5-hour drive back to Ohio. Thanks again for watching, and until next time, I'm Jason Wish, wishing you a great time on your next adventure.